Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between. Welcome back to Old Man Rambles. Now, before we get too far into this, I want to preface this by saying this is not me whining about I don't have any friends, nobody likes me, wah, wah, wah. This is not a whine fest about me not having any friends. I do have friends, and they've been friends for quite some time. This is about something else, and I've been hesitant to do this for several reasons. Not because I don't want to share stuff, although I don't really do that much. I actually do it more here on Facebook than in real life. More because I know some people watch this and I don't want to maybe offend anyone who I know who might be watching this. But yeah, I think I've forgotten how to make friends. And that needs some explanation. I do have friends. I've made and lost friends my whole life. For most of my whole life, I guess, since I am talking about this in a different way. Anywho, there are some people from high school that I still keep in touch with on social media. There are people from my first job I ever worked at when I moved out of the house back in 1985, who I still keep in touch with on social media. I have people who, my previous job for the one I'm working at, they're in my World of Warcraft guild. I consider them my friends. There are people that I met online when I first discovered online communities, who I keep in touch with on a regular basis, and they're more acquaintances really, because I don't know them in real life. I don't know them in person, but I think if I did that, I'd hang out with them, and that's why I keep in touch with them on social media. But at my current place of employment, I have been here for 22 years, and I do not have any friends here. This isn't because there's no one here I like, no one here I could be friends with. I like lots of the people here, and there are some that I definitely feel that I could be close to. But something in here isn't doing that anymore, and I don't know why. I've been aware of this for a while. I was on the warehouse working on the dock for 10 years. And then, around 2002, I transitioned to my current job. I've been in this job for 12 years. And a couple years after starting this job, one of the people that worked in my area, not specifically directly with me, but she worked in like the same little office area. They were having a bonfire at her house, which is only about a mile from here. And she invited me and my wife to go. We've been, we chat a few times. We'd carpool back and forth to work when I had car trouble and stuff like that. I need a ride. So I liked her a lot, and I said yes. And, went to her house, had some fun. And after a while, I realized that was the first time I'd done something social with someone outside of work in almost 10 years. Basically, for more than 10 years, that was the only social activity I had with my coworkers outside of work. Was her, she invited me like 3 or 4 more times. So like for about a decade, I didn't socialize with anyone that I worked with. I went to like the formal Christmas ball. I went to the company bowling party. I went to the summer picnic. We had someone from Europe or from Japan or Memphis coming up, for work business, and we had dinner, stuff like that. I did business functions. I did socialize with them in that, but that was a work-related activity. I didn't do anything with my people that worked in my building that was not work-related. And even when the geeks community started at work, that's the first time I was actually being social with people that worked in my building. And even then, as much as I like them and they invite me to do stuff with them, they don't feel like friends. And I think that's the reason I was hesitant to make this, because I do know some people from work watch this. And I have to say, it's not you, it's me, because it really is. They invite me to stuff. I hang out, I do things with them, but It's not the same as with like people the small group of people who are my friends. You know, and I use my World of Warcraft guild, which seems kind of silly, but they're the closest thing I have to a friends group. You know, we chat online, we meet each other in real life at our houses, and that's the thing. Like when we meet, we're meeting to meet. We're not meeting to do the activity. You know, when we do get together at someone's house, we'll sit and just shoot the breeze for an hour before we actually get to the activity. We don't necessarily have to, have a LAN party or a board game night or whatever. We'll just sit and talk for an hour or two before we actually get to the activity we had planned on getting together to do. And while I will sit and hang out with the geeks at work, and I enjoy their company, I can't socialize them in that way. My brain hasn't assigned them that role. Something in here is broken. And this predates COVID. I mean, COVID has made it worse. COVID has definitely made it worse. Working from home, being in these four walls, pretty much nonstop with no other interaction except for my wife, 90% of the time, has done some damage. I'm not blaming my wife for that. It's just it is what it is. But this predates that. COVID's only been since 2020. This is 2024. So, my lack of having friends had a 16-year chunk in there that had nothing to do with COVID. And it bothers me. There are people at work that I like, that I genuinely think that maybe I should be friends with them, or that I could be friends with them. But my brain isn't making that connection anymore. And it was an odd realization to come to. The fact that, I could walk out the door and never see these people again. If I retired or something happened, I pissed someone off and they fired me, or someone decided to downsize my job and I was cut off from these people. It wouldn't mean the same as when I lost my job, the previous one. I was laid off, company downsizing. Company had a couple bad years of loss, and they let go of their workforce. And I made an effort to keep in touch with some of those people. I got email addresses, I got phone numbers, and I'd send out an email every once in a while. I'd make a phone call every once in a while. I made an effort to keep in touch with people. And if I left this job, I might do that. But it wouldn't hit me the same. And it does bother me that there's something wrong in my brain. That it's not connecting with people. I've been an introvert my whole life, to greater or lesser degree. I wouldn't have identified myself as that when I was a kid because I didn't know the word existed. I was considered myself, a shy kid. Someone who had a hard time making friends, who spent a lot of time alone. But I always wanted friends. And yeah, I don't do transition well, but there's something broken in here. And I don't know if anything caused it particularly. I can't point to any one time when it stopped. But yeah, I don't know what happened. My brain just stopped doing certain things. And I guess I just want to talk about it. Until next time, good hunting.